Joining me here in the studios is Helin Sari Ertem. She's an Associate Professor of International Relations at Istanbul Medeniyet University. Professor, great to have you here with us on TRT World. Okay, so let's make a few things clear. Benjamin Netanyahu, he obviously wants the United States to attack Iran. He has made it clear on multiple locations. In the meanwhile, we have this stance of regional countries who do not want any sort of U.S. involvement in Iran right now. So Donald Trump is in a tough position, is he not? He has to decide which side to choose.
Well, I think it's hard to be a superpower. Sorry. Donald Trump's position is very hard because they have to find a balance between Iran and Israel, which is the main partner of the United States in the region. So Israel's security is the United States' security. But at the same time, the United States has to think about the regional security as well, which is about protecting the regional countries, especially from the aggression of Israeli government. So I think the conversation will especially move on regarding the United States' efforts to find a balance in between all these regional partners as well as Israel.
But how likely do you think is it to find that balance right now, given the rhetoric that we are seeing coming from Benjamin Netanyahu?
Well, I think Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to pursue two things. The first one is about the, let's say, survival of himself politically inside his country. And the second one is about the survival of Israel, especially regarding the danger, the threats coming from the regional actors, especially Iran. So there are many things at stake. So both sides will try to somehow further their national interests. So the conversation will continue, I think, in my point of view, for both sides to try to find a balance for their security, for their national interests, let's say.
And you know, many people point out to the 2015 JCPOA agreement between the United States and Iran. Obviously, at the time, we saw the United States and Iran agree on containing uranium enrichment. But I don't think there was any progress in that deal when it comes to containing Iranian proxies or the ballistic missiles program. Then fast forward to 2018, when President Donald Trump sanctioned Iran heavily. That brought down Iranian reserves from $123 billion to $4 billion. But all those things, they never really brought Iran to the negotiating table. So do you think the United States this time around is adopting a different strategy by sending these military assets?
Well, it's about coercive diplomacy, I guess. So you have to show your force, especially in the region, in order to somehow intimidate Iran, in order to limit Iran's options regarding the future choices of the country. But at the same time, I guess we have to especially underline that keeping diplomacy channels open is the most important thing for all actors, including the United States. So I guess the Trump administration is especially trying to keep the diplomacy channel open, but this is also in favor of Iran as well, in favor of the Gulf countries, in favor of Turkey as well. So none of these actors want actually a military aggression. For me, the United States is actually trying to show strength, but not to use it especially, but to threaten, to intimidate Iran, especially to limit its foreign policy choices. But for Israel, the best option seems to be military aggression, which is what the United States doesn't want, actually.
And you know, I think it's also going to be of paramount importance for the domestic political landscape of the United States, because I remember covering the U.S. election back in 2024, and I remember one of the main campaign promises of Donald Trump was to ensure that the United States does not launch another foreign war. So in case Netanyahu is able to influence or perhaps pressure Donald Trump into attacking Iran, what kind of ramifications there could be for President Trump domestically?
Well, actually, he underlined when he first, or let's say second time came to power, he underlined that he was going to be a man of peace. So for him, it's very important to keep his promises. That's why I guess they will refrain from using military aggression or military methods against Iran. So they will try their utmost effort, that they will make their utmost effort to somehow refrain from military aggression as an option. So I guess this will be the last option for the United States. But at the same time, they will use military strength as a kind of, let's say, leverage to achieve their targets, or let's say national interests inside the region. So I should once again underline that balancing is an important factor at this time for the Trump administration especially.
And Professor, one last question here. We need to wrap, but I just really want to ask you this question quickly. So we saw a major military buildup of US military in the first week of January. Then something happened and Donald Trump halted his plan to attack Iran. Then a few weeks passed and here we are again. A similar military buildup. In fact, this time around they have a more heavy presence in the Middle East in terms of aircraft and aircraft carriers. I wonder, what's your gut feeling? Do you think all of this happened for nothing?
No, it's a part of diplomacy. You know, even war is a part of diplomacy. That's why I think all these ups and downs regarding American show of military strength is a part of the diplomacy that it's pursuing against Iran. But we have to also be clear that the Trump administration is listening to the voices of regional countries, the Gulf countries, Turkey, and many other actors as well, that a military aggression in the region will turn a kind of a fireball, let's say, in the region, which can escalate the surrounding regions as well. And this is something that the Trump administration doesn't want at all. This is not in the interest of any actors in the region. Maybe we can think of Israel, but even for Israel, I can claim that it will be not in their favor, the military option, let's say.
Fascinating insights, Professor Helin, Sari, Ertem. Thanks very much for joining me here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.